I get a lot of comments like this, and actually, in some ways, nothing against this particular person or comment. It's just fairly common. And in some ways, I'm actually jealous because they don't really have an understanding of what either the alcoholic goes through or the family of the alcoholic. And that's okay. It's not necessarily something that you want to be a specialist with. It's not something that I would recommend having to go through as a family member or as an alcoholic. Certainly, in this case, this is in response to my wife used to hide her bottles and cans all over the house. We found hundreds of them when she was alive, and more so after she passed away. And they say, well, how come we didn't help her? Well, you can listen to one of my other 400 videos that kind of go over that, but let's delve a little bit deeper into this particular comment. In some ways, I'm actually jealous of someone that has this comment because they don't have the knowledge or the understanding of what goes on with an alcoholic, and they don't understand it as a mental health disease. And for a long time, I kind of thought that too. I thought it was, well, that makes the person escape the culpability of their own drinking, calling it a mental health disease. Why don't you help these people? When really nothing's further from the truth, and having a lack of understanding of what alcoholism is probably a good thing. It means you haven't had the experience. But for those of us who do, it's semi annoying to have to deal with it because there's some judgment in statements when there's nothing but ignorance being applied to those statements. Yeah, my wife, we helped her everything we could. She went to 7 rehabs. She had 4 DUIs, multiple emergency stays, hospital stays. She was incarcerated twice, several times under house arrest, had warrants. I mean, the problems went on and on. That's not really the core issue. The core issue is that she had issues, mental health issues herself, which caused all this drama. She got more help than the average person did, and the fact that if we didn't really present her to go into rehabs, and if she was by herself, for example, I don't think she would have lived anywhere near as long as she ultimately did. And in sometimes with these kind of comments, there's always a connotation like somehow it was the family's fault, that maybe she wouldn't be hiding the bottles and cans if the family hadn't been pushing her or showing some kind of anger or frustration towards the alcoholic, when in fact it's really a defense mechanism for the alcoholic. It really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the family, other than the fact that they don't want to be found out, which is pretty normal. Unfortunately, if the family wasn't there, like in my particular case, if my son and myself weren't there, my wife probably would have died a decade earlier, because there wouldn't have been anybody there to have checks and balances. She would have been completely unrestrained, and no doubt that she would have drunk herself into oblivion by herself, or caused some kind of horrible accident, because she often did get behind the wheel of a car when she was inebriated. So at least we were able to prevent that. And again, if this type of situation resonates with you, if you have an alcoholic in the family, or you are an alcoholic yourself, click on the link above. I've scheduled a breakthrough call. I've helped thousands of alcoholics, and just as importantly, their families. And again, please like, share, and comment. And again, we have a Facebook group called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism, which is really designed as a good support group, and we talk about alcoholic issues in the family and alcoholism and a whole lot more. And again, thanks for listening.